Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have to hand you. Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have to hand you.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 9th round of the FSR ACE Championship sponsored by the Thrustmaster. We're here at France at Manicourt and I will be joined here, at least for now, by Cameron Roger. Welcome.
Hello everyone. Hot day today.
Yeah. So the qualifying session has just started and judging from the practice session, it looks like that Sandra Callas will be basically the one to beat because he was quickest by 2.5 tenths, which on this track is quite a lot, so to say.
Yeah, the track's very short, so to gain even a tenth is quite difficult. So to be 2 tenths clear is quite remarkable.
Yeah, it is indeed, and we have our first times on the board. So far, Cheyenne Najam. Quickest with a 1:13.1. We saw in the practice session Sandra Callas has done a 12.6 or 12.7, I think. And yeah, so the times will definitely improve. So let's see who's on a hot lap right now. Let's take a look. And Sandra Callas is actually on a hot lap right now, 2 tenths quicker than Najam. So far, it's a 13.0, only 17 thousandths of a second quicker than Najam, but still good enough to put himself into the provisional pole position. So everybody seems to be on an outlap right now, and I'm actually looking at Michael Ayers. Seems to have crashed on his first hot lap, and he's not the only one actually, so quite interesting. Drivers making quite a lot of mistakes right away, so I think it proves that even though this is a short track, it's still pretty difficult.
It's probably one of the hardest tracks on the calendar actually, because there aren't really many corners on the track, but the straights in between them also aren't very long. So you sort of want to run a bit higher downforce, but you sort of got to push so hard just to get the lap times because the corners are so quick.
Yeah, I think we could agree on the fact that driving on this track as it is, it's not that hard, but getting it perfect is extremely difficult. I'm looking at right now at Lucas Schmidt on his first hot lap of the day. So far in the first sector, only 0.04 of a second behind Sander Callas. Wasn't the best approach into the first chicane there. Also quite oversteery on the exit of the hairpin. Now let's see, the second chicane at the end of the second sector. How good is it? He is 0.4 slower than Sander Callas, so let's see what he can do in the final sector. The final part is very, very tricky, especially the last chicane with the bumps and so on. So let's see how Lucas Schmidt will do. Can he go clean? Yes, and pretty fast also as well. And it is a 1:13.5, which is 0.4 slower than actually Michael Ayers, who's now on provisional pole by 0.02 of a second in front of Sander Callas. Good lap from him.
These lap times are very close. Dylan and Jos have just gone ahead of Michael, and the top four are, well, less than half, top five even, just over half a tenth between them.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. And now look at that, George Winter as well, only 0.07 of pole, but he's... Oh, and look at that, Lucas Alves now actually almost 1.5 tenths quicker, and now Sander Callas goes quickest with a 1:12.8. So the times are improving, but it's very, very close. And now Najem up into third place, only 0.09 of a second behind Alves and 0.05 of a second behind the current pole sitter Sander Callas. That is absolutely incredible how close the field is on this track. On a track like this, which is quite short, and the differences between each drivers is very, very small. You know, on this track, the little details, the small details, are gonna make the difference here. So I think it's really gonna show, who can really, get the maximum out of the car, especially in the qualifying session. As I said, that Cody Blanton goes third fastest, 0.05 of a second off pole, but good enough for third position currently. So it's going to be interesting to see who will get all those details right. And not only get pole position, but also win the race. Which is going to be, yeah, pretty hard with a close field like this. Let's take a look. Is anyone on a hot lap? Jos Araneda is just starting his second hot lap. Otherwise, nobody else from the top 10. So let's take a look at him, what he can do in the first sector. Let's take a look at the top speed. Shouldn't be too high. Yeah, 305. He's actually... He doesn't improve his personal best in the first sector, but it's still over 1/10 quicker than what Callas has done on his fastest hot lap. So looks like the Invictus car could be one of the quickest in the first sector, but maybe not the quickest in the rest of the circuit. So let's see. Second sector, can he improve? No, lost even more time, and now he has made a mistake, made a lockup. That right-hander is so incredibly difficult to get right. Incredibly difficult. So now we have George Winter on a hot lap, but no improvement there so far. But we also have Felix van Delft on a hot lap, so let's see what he can do. There is an improvement, and it's quickest actually, quicker than Sander Callas currently. So let's see what Felix van Delft can do. I think it's his third hot lap. So let's see, a little lockup, but shouldn't lose much time there. Coming up to the fast second chicane. Very hard to get right, very tricky. As is this corner, lost a little bit of time in the second sector, but still an improvement of 1/1000th of a second, but over a tenth slower than what Sander Callas has done. So let's see if we can find a tenth or two in the final sector, which is very hard to do. Almost impossible if you ask me. But it was a very good final chicane. Can he improve? Yes, he can. You can see he's not happy. He's not happy because he missed out on a provisional pole by 600ths of a second only. So he has found over half a tenth in the final sector, but it was not enough.
That's crazy, finding half tenth, going up, well, 3 positions, and also half tenth, well, just over half tenth off the pole sitter. So lap time's very close here at the top. This is going to be a very close race.
It's going to be a very close race indeed. And now Lucas Alves improving by half a tenth there. Oh, but makes a mistake. Oh, coming out of the right-hander in the start of the final sector and puts the car into the wall. Yeah, the lap times are extremely close, because if you look, the difference between the second place, the Alves, and fourth place, Najam, the difference is 9/1000th of a second, which is just insane. Najam has completed another hot lap, but hasn't improved. And let's take a look. And Sander Callas has improved by almost 1/10 in the first sector, so it looks like it's going to be a good lap from Sander Callas, from the Estonian driver. Let's see, can he improve in the second sector? Lost a little bit of time there, but it still is an improvement by 600ths of a second. Let's see, can he find a little bit of time in the final sector? Everybody pretty much closed him down in the final sector, so I think there is still room for improvement from him, and indeed he improves in the final sector by over half a tenth and increases the gap between himself and the rest of the grid, but to almost 2/10. And he's actually out of his hot lap tries. He's gonna have to sit and hope that nobody's gonna beat him in the last 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, he's run out with only 1 lap left. That's not enough to get around and start a new one. But Lucas Alves, who is just starting another lap, he's still got two laps left with 6 minutes to go. So he is keeping his laps till really late, maybe hoping the track improves a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the drivers use all their laps and don't wait for the end of the session when the track is the quickest.
I think it's possibly a rhythm thing. I know myself. I just want to sort of do another lap. So to just keep the rhythm going, if you had any.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 types of drivers. One that needs to keep going so he doesn't lose his rhythm, and then there's the other side where the drivers do that 1 lap and think about in their head what they have done wrong, and probably watch other drivers as well to see where they can improve, and then they go out again and improve, and what they have done wrong, they do it right next time. So yeah, there's a lot of other reasons that
we have Lucas Alves. He's gone purple in the first sector, an average middle sector, but can he get any sort of improvements?
Well, he's quicker than Sander Callas.
Yes, he can, almost.
Almost.
200ths off.
Yeah, he lost
That's
a little bit of time actually in the final sector because he was quicker
Yeah.
by 200ths of a second, and then he lost over half a tenth in the final sector. So definitely Lucas Alves still has one attempt to go. I think he could snatch pole position here if he can get the last attempt, perfectly.
Well, it's his middle sector. His first sector he's a 10th up, and his last sector he's a couple of hundredths up. But his middle sector he's almost a 10th off. That might
That's
be due to
interesting.
the wings, actually.
Yeah,
Alves has a little bit higher
Oh,
top speed.
and Araneda actually improving by quite a lot. Only half attempt slower than Callas in the second sector. That wasn't the best final sector. Made a mistake in the final chicane. Didn't execute it perfectly and lost like a tenth there. So he doesn't improve by much. And I think he actually stays 6th. Or was he 7th? I don't know now. But he's out of attempts as well. So Jos Araneda is gonna be 6th at least.
Yes, out at the top we have Lucas and Shen. They are both on their outlaps, coming to start their final attempts.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody else on a huge improvement, so looks like we're just gonna wait and see.
Danny Manzini spun at the final corner.
Just saw that.
And that is all his laps done, so he is at best 13th.
Yeah, so not the best qualifying session for Danny van der Neede actually, but still, if you look at it, the top 15 is separated by half a second. The top 15. That is incredible, really.
It's oval racing stuff.
Yeah. So Danny van der Neede was only 4/10 of the pole position lap time, but he's 13th. So yeah, you really need to get all the details right and get everything perfectly to come out on top, which is exactly what Callas has done. But Lucas Alves can spoil the party for him because he's on the final hot lap right now. So let's take a look. Can Lucas Alves, the Brazilian from Netrex, snatch pole position from Sander Callas? We're gonna have to wait and see. The first sector, not an improvement by 400ths of a second, but I'm sure he could find a bit of time in the final section or the remaining parts of the track. Oh, big lock up into the airpin, but actually doesn't look like he lost time there, so all good for him. But he's gonna have to be careful. And an improvement in the second sector. He's half a tenth quicker than Sander Callas. This could be the day. This could be Lucas's day. We'll see. He must not mess up the final 2 corners now. The final chicane, and he gets it right. He gets it very right. A little bit of oversteer on the exit. Can he get it? No.
No. Was that only a 1,000th improvement?
Yeah, only 1,000. So he lost again. Lost even more time in the final sector than he did last time. So. And now Cody Blanton is on the hot lap. He's 3rd right now. But he's quite far behind Alves and Callas. I mean, I know it's not even 2/10, but relatively speaking, overall, it's quite a lot. So let's see if he can find the time there, and an improvement in the first sector by 200ths of a second. We also have Felix van Delft on the hot lap, and now Dylan Scrivens as well. It's gonna be quite tough to watch everyone. And for Felix van Delft, also an improvement in the first sector.
Cody Blanton around turn 9, really sliding the car. Be surprised if there's an improvement here. Did lose quite a bit of time.
Whoa!
Sent it in there.
Yeah, that is a big time loss, and he gives
yeah,
up.
He bins it.
So let's take a look. What about Dylan Scrivens? Not an improvement so far. What about Felix van Delft in the second sector? Not an improvement as well, but it's very, very close. He could still improve and put himself up into P3. We'll see. He's gonna have to find 1700ths of a second, or thousandths of a second, Excuse me. Now the final chicane for Felix van Delft. Executed perfectly.
Oh, that was nice.
Now coming up to the line, and he goes into third position. By 400ths of a second. What about Dylan Scrivens? Gives up. Michael Ayers also on a hot lap. So is Christoph Schur. Not an improvement for both of them so far. Now Christoph Schur coming up to the end of the second sector. Can he improve? No. Lost even more time and is almost 2/10 slower than in his PB. What about Michael Ayers then? He's in 9th currently. Can he improve? And he's actually the last on the track. Oh, but makes a mistake into the right-hander. Doesn't look like it's gonna be an improvement.
It is the last man out on track.
No, no.
Oh, he hits the curb.
Yeah, he turned too early. So that is it for him then. So it will be Sander Callas starting from pole position. Lucas Alves will start from 2nd. On the 2nd row, we'll have Felix van Delft and Cody Blanton. 3rd row will belong to Najam and Hamnet. Araneda and Scrivens in 7th and 8th respectively, and Michael Ayers with Christoph Schur rounding out the top 10. All these drivers separated by 3.5 tenths. That is insane, really. Wow.
Yeah, very, very, very close today.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, that was the qualifying session then. And I know we have some penalties there already, actually. For the ACE race, I think.
Yes, there are. There's actually 4 penalties, but only one of the drivers is racing, which is Lucas Alves. He has a 5-place grid penalty.
Oh, he has a okay. So he's gonna start from 9th.
Oh yeah,
then.
I forgot that.
He's gonna start. So that means that Sander Callas will start from 1st, but Felix van Delft will start 2nd. Cody Blanton and Najam will be on row 2. Hamnet and Araneda on Hamnet and Alves on row 3, Araneda Scrivens on row 4, and Ayers Schur on row 5. So that's gonna hurt Alves quite a lot because it looks like he was pretty much the only one that could challenge Sander Callas in the qualifying session, even though Felix van Delft was really close. He wasn't really a threat until the final attempt.
Okay, so I think I'm going to run a little advert here, and then we'll
Yeah.
be back in a few minutes.
Hello and welcome back. Joining us back in the stream. We're now in the warm-up session where the drivers are getting used to higher fuel loads. We of course have the refueling system this year. And if you have joined us now, then you should know that Sander Callas got pole position. And Felix van der Vliet is going to start in second. Of course, Lucas Alves was second, but he has a 5th-place grid drop, which means he's going to be dropped down to 7th place. But I'm now joined by Ian Breslin, who's going to replace Cameron Roger for the remainder of the stream. So welcome, Ian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Sander Callas, the championship leader, got another pole. I think we both can agree on the fact that he is the favorite for, another win.
I think so.
In this race, definitely. The weather forecast a few days ago, there was actually it was actually showing that it would be raining for Saturday and Sunday here at Manicourt. But for this race, I think there's only a 1% chance of rain. So it looks like that we're gonna have a dry race. Finally. Finally a dry race.
Yeah, it should be interesting that we won't have any kind of spanners thrown into the works of this, so we can kind of get a clear running of exactly who's where and what kind of pace everybody has.
Yeah, definitely, and the strategy is going to be quite important here as well. Going to be interesting to see, who chooses what, who chooses which strategy, and so on. It looks like it's going to be a 2-stop. But I think there's going to be differences in the compounds. I think some drivers will go for double option and some drivers will go for double prime. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting because I think there's a lot of potential with the strategy there that, some drivers who are kind of on their tires may want to try running on a longer stint. But yeah, it should be an interesting race to see because this is the first of the 3 races this weekend, so nobody really knows where anybody else is. They only have their own data to go on at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, we've got some 4.5 minutes to go. So far, Lucas Alves, the quickest, with a 1:14.3, which is not bad. Cody Blanton in second with a 1:14.5, and close behind him, Jos Araneda with a 1:14.5 as well.
So there's only 20 drivers on the grid here today now, so that should maybe have a reduction in the amount of first lap incidents that we have as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I think it's going to be really close in the first hairpin after the long straight there.
Yeah.
So, the drivers are gonna have to be very, very careful in that corner.
First laps are always going to be that little bit more difficult, but certainly on a first corner like this, it's something people have to be aware of.
Yeah, especially in the lower divisions. So yeah, we'll see what will happen. Well, Sander Callas hasn't done a hot lap yet. So I'll take a quick look at what he's doing right now. Where is he? He's right here. Is he on a lap? Yes, he is. So let's see what he can do with the higher fuel load. And he's second, actually, so it's quite close between the drivers. And it's, the usual two, Alves and Callas, being the quickest, as it was in qualifying. But, of course, Alves has that 5th-place grid drop, which is going to hurt him quite a lot.
Yeah, and he's going to be especially annoyed. Like, he was so close to being on pole position there. 2 thousandths of a second, or I think it was.
It was 200ths of a second, but...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, but he had a lot of room for improvement there because he always lost time in the final sector.
Yeah.
So I believe he could have been on pole, but I also believe that there was more potential for Callas as well. You know, you don't really know what is their maximum, what they can actually do. But it looks like that Sander Callas has got everything right, which is going to be very crucial, not only in the qualifying, but especially in the race. The drivers are going to have to get it perfect, because the grid is so close on this track, so...
Yeah, I'm particularly impressed by all the drivers today now. We have the first and the 17th, all within 600ths of a second of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that, and we also have basically the top 15. Like, three-fourths of the grid, separated by half a second.
Half a second is amazing. That's the quality on this grid is truly astonishing.
It is indeed, and you know, it's still the middle, basically the middle division in FSR. You cannot even imagine how close is it going to be in especially in WC tomorrow.
Absolutely. The guys who are there are a lot of guys here in Ace now this year that I expect will be in World Championship next year. But the guys who are in WC now, they're phenomenal. They're not only in their speed, but their consistency as well. And there's a lot of guys here today who are showing exactly what they need to show to be in WC.
Yeah, and I think Sander Callas is one of those drivers who's gonna get into WC. Because we already saw him in some occasions in the WC. This year it was in Spain, where it was raining, and he finished. Maybe, I think, even on the podium, actually. So, Sander Callas definitely has the potential and the pace to be a very competitive WC driver.
Definitely.
So, the final seconds are remaining in the warm-up session, so everybody is going to finish their final laps. And we're going to get onto the race. We're now waiting for Christoph Schur to join. So I think it's actually 21 drivers on the grid. So, but I don't think it's gonna take too long, and we're gonna see the start of the formation lap pretty soon.
Do you have any dark horses for today that you might think could upset the apple cart here?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say who could be.
I mean, with the grid as tight as this, I think almost anybody with the right strategy really could be the winner here today, just on strategy alone.
Yeah, I think anyone, I think even anyone from the top 10 could win the race.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that close. You know, any detail, any mistake is gonna matter. So, who gets it perfect is most probably gonna win. And yeah, we'll see. But I think Cody Blanton could be one of those drivers, because we haven't seen him much at the front of the grid, but he will be starting from third place. So I think we could see something interesting from him. But we're gonna have to wait and find out. There's an actually, there was quite a nice battle between the Netrex drivers there. Maybe testing a little bit of dirty air there.
And that's actually something as well that we should, I don't know if you talked about it already. There has been a change to the dirty air in this particular mod for this race. So it'll be the first time that we'll see it properly during the race.
Yeah, not only the dirty air was modified, but also the slipstream was modified.
That's right.
So that means that, but it's only a very, very slight change. That means that the dirty air effect will be slightly smaller, and the slipstream effect will be slightly higher. So I think we're going to see some proper overtakes from now on. Which in the end I think is what the fans want and what the people want to see.
Yeah, and it's also what the drivers want as well, because nobody likes to spend that long, practicing and then have a small mistake mean that on the first lap they're down in the last position, and then they have to try and battle their way through with a car that just can't get out from behind a dirty air.
Yeah, because I saw many drivers complaining that, for example, they had an incident at the start of the race and they had to go back from the back of the grid back to the front, and they couldn't because there was no way they could overtake someone, even when the driver ahead was like a second slower. He just could not overtake. But now that will be possible, and I think we're going to see some fantastic action.
Absolutely.
So here we go. The formation lap is starting now, and would you mind taking us through the grid?
Sure. In first place today we have Sander Kallis with that amazing lap time that he did. And of course everybody down the grid was particularly close this time, with Felix van Delft in second, and then Cody Blanton then in third. In fourth place then we have Najan, followed up by Harley Hammond. Then we have Araneda, followed up for them by Alves. Dylan Scrivens then in 8th, with Michael Ayres closely behind him. George Winter then in 10th, followed behind him by him is Satherley. Lucas Schmidt then in 12th place. Danny van der Neeth is then in 13th. Breslin is then in 14th. Dwald Nell in 15th, with David Paling right beside him. In 17th we have Luca Osakova, and then in 18th we have Jean-Pierre Halla. 19th we have Todor Vasilov, and then in 20th place we have Jared van der Veen.
Yep. So that is it. Now we're waiting for the drivers to finish their formation lap, and let's take a look. Who is on the primes? It is Satterley, it is Schmidt, it is van der Neet, it is Roslan, it is Nell, it is Paling, it is Helpap, it is Vasiliev. So we have quite a lot of drivers, pretty much 95% of the drivers outside the top 10 starting on the primes. And that could be quite beneficial in the latter part of the race. Because since this is a short track and the chicanes, for example, are still full throttle, even with the primes, the tires don't make much of the difference. It's the fuel that makes most of the difference. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what these drivers can do with the alternate strategy. I think it's going to be very, very exciting.
It really is. And a lot of people were against the idea of refueling coming back in, but I think certainly in races like this, it really introduces a strategy element that would not have been present before.
Yeah, definitely. And here we go. The final driver is on the grid, and we're going to have the 5 red lights. Here we go. We have 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and the 9th round, the French Grand Prix, is underway. Sander Kallis with a fantastic start. Still in the lead with Felix van Delft in second. And oh, we have already a mistake from Lucas Alves.
Oh no.
And he's fallen down the grid and down to last position almost. Oh, that is very, very unlucky for him. But now look at Cody Blanton right behind Felix van Delft going for it. Side by side coming into the hairpin at the end of the first sector. Let's take a look. Can Cody go around the outside? He's going to try, and he has a better exit than Felix van Delft. Oh, this is going to be so tight coming into the chicane. Is Felix going to get back out? Yes, he is, and Cody Blanton up into second place.
Yeah, I think he thought the better of that in there. He was, if he didn't pull out of that, there definitely would have been contact between the two.
Definitely there will be. That means that Sander Kallis has built a 1 second gap already, with Cody Blanton in second, Felix van Delft in third, Hamnet in fourth. Good start from him actually, very good, and Araneda in fifth. So the Invictus driver is having quite a good start there. Oh, and sadly with DeWalt now having a little contact there, and there's even more drivers actually involved, I think. At least I heard some crashing noises there.
Yeah, a lot more crashing noises after the initial contact had been finished.
And Oslakovic having a dream start up into 10th place. Oh, and George Winter actually making a mistake coming out of the final chicane. Now he has Dave Paling right behind him on the prime tires. Can he get ahead? Oh, that was really close actually between them. Dave Paling had to do an avoiding action there to not make contact with George Winter, but all good.
This is an action-packed first couple of laps at this point.
And Alves actually has lost a part of his front wing there. Oh, and he's making a move down the inside on... that is the vault now, and he's up into 15th place with a damaged front wing. I think he's losing the right end plate on the right-hand side there.
He hasn't chosen to stop, though, which is an interesting aspect.
Yeah, so...
He doesn't think that it's affecting him too much.
And more crashing noises, actually. This is going from bad to worse for Lucas Alves. Not only having a penalty place grid drop, but also he made a mistake coming into turn 1. Now he lost an end plate on his front wing, so not going really good for him. But Sander Callas still in the lead. 1.5 seconds, it's basically 1.5 seconds of the lead. 3/10 faster than Cody Blanton in the last lap. Felix van der still third, Hamlet fourth, and Araneda actually losing a little bit of time and coming under pressure from Nat Gem there.
So even though we've had all of that contact on the first couple of laps, I don't think anybody's actually stopped at this point, have they?
No, I don't think so.
That's unusual. I would have thought that some of the damage there would have been...
Alves on Dave Paling once again, and outbreaking him actually round the outside into the airpin there. Nice move from Lucas Alves up into 14th, and ahead of him is Ari Frostland.
Oh, and Dylan Scrivens...
And George Winter makes a mistake in turn 6. Goes wide and narrowly misses the barrier there. So no damage for him, but he is losing a lot of position and he's down to last from 12th place.
He had to safely rejoin there and he just couldn't find a way back in, and so now he's right at the back of the pack.
And Cody Blanton made a mistake, he's down to 8th. Has he done the same mistake? Yes, he has done the same mistake as George Winter. Into turn 6, clipped the gravel there, and he was just a passenger from then on. Luckily, he missed the barrier as well, but he is down to 8th, so that means Felix van der is up into 2nd and Hamnet into a podium position for the Invictus Motorsport.
So the top 10 are still only separated by 8 seconds, which isn't that much. Everybody's basically spaced out by about a second each. So it's all still to play for here.
Definitely is. Sander Callas being comfortable so far in the lead. The gap over 2 seconds now. Felix van der being pretty alone as well. But behind them, there's a lot of close gaps. And I heard more crashing noises right now, but don't see anything actually.
Well, nobody seems to be off track at least.
Yeah, and we have a big fight for the 5th place between Najam, Ayers, Scrivens and Blanton watching behind them. So it's basically the 3 flag-to-flag drivers fighting for position, being very, very close behind each other. And we know Cody is fast because he qualified third, then got into 2nd until he made that mistake, which put him down to 8th. So I think you could expect him crawling back to the front of the grid. Interesting. Felix van der actually closed the gap by a little bit to Sander Callas.
Yeah, they've actually been exchanging fastest laps over the last couple of laps, so it's not going to be that Callas is going to drive off into the sunset at this stage. I think it's a little bit of game on.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it looks like that Sander Callas won't get the victory here for free. Oh, as I said, Felix van der outbreaks himself a little bit and loses a 10th or 2.
So Van der Neet and Alves now are very close to each other on track as well. It's half a second separating those guys. Yes,
both these guys are teammates, so overtaking a similar car or the same car is much more difficult.
Ooh.
As I said, it Alves nearly bins it coming out of the final chicane. It's very, very hard to to get the traction coming out of the final chicane. And
Yeah.
Lucas Alves was actually pretty lucky there.
He did very well to save that, in fairness to him.
Yeah, indeed.
Jared Van den Weed is having a little bit of competition there with George Winter.
Yeah. And it looks like so far Sander Callas and Felix van der Elf just dominating, because both of these guys are around half a second quicker than anybody else. And again, Felix van der Elf closing the gap. The gap is almost under 2 seconds now. So it's game on.
Absolutely.
Oh, the crash! There's been a crash between the two Networks drivers, Danny van der Niet and Lucas Alves, and both of these guys probably out of the race. Oh,
well,
God.
Alves might be able to continue on. He's missing his front wing, a little bit of suspension damage.
Oh, jeez. Danny van der Niet, what has happened there? Oh, Danny van der Niet just braked in front of... he just braked in front of... who is that? Lucas Alves.
And Winter's out as well.
Yeah, Winter is out as well. Oh no. Well, that is a big shame. Let's take a look what happened to... Oh yeah, coming out of the second chicane. Yeah, clipped the gravel and into the wall. Losing the rear wing, and he's out of the race. Wow, so a crash between the two drivers. And I don't know why Danny van der Niet braked or let off the throttle on a straight.
Yeah,
in front of
that's...
his teammate.
I think... Perhaps...
I
think
Danny van der Niet was going to let Lucas pass.
Yeah, I think there may have been some miscommunication there between them.
Yeah, probably a miscommunication in the Networks team between these two drivers. It looks like Danny van der Niet wanted to let Lucas pass, because Lucas was one of the quickest today. But Lucas was so close that he couldn't react in time to Danny van der Niet, and they both crashed. So that is a big shame. And Lucas Alves now in the pits as Eric Frostland makes a mistake.
Just looking back further up the grid there again, the gap between Callas and Felix van Delft has dropped to 1.5 seconds. So I'm not sure there if Callas made a mistake in the particular lap or not, but Van Delft closed the gap by 3/10 just in the last lap alone.
Yeah, so Alves not coming into the pits, but he is again almost dead last. So
surely he must have some suspension damage there that will be affecting his driving.
Yeah, there has to be some damage of some sort. And as I said, Felix van Delft still closing the gap to Sander Callas. The gap now 1.4 seconds.
And these two drivers are driving off a little bit away from everybody else. Harley Hamlet now is 5 seconds behind them.
Yeah. And still Felix van Delft closing the gap. The gap now down to 1.3.
He's really in the groove right now.
Yeah, and it's now down to 1.2. So he's getting closer and closer. Oh! Air's having an oversteer moment there. Coming out of turn 2, the long right-hander before the back straight.
And there's a bit of a battle going between...
Oh, Ostakovic spinning in turn 6 in the fast chicane. Luckily only spinning and losing around 2 seconds. Not much harm done, but he had a very, very bad entry into the chicane there. Then clipped the gravel and spun. But he's alright and continues on, so good for him. Now Felix van Delft, the gap down to 1.1 seconds. So it looks like that Felix van Delft is around 2/10, 3/10 a lap faster than Sander Callas.
He definitely has the consistency.
He definitely has the consistency, but maybe even Sander Callas is not pushing on his limit, but on the other hand, I think he would increase the pace if Felix van Dijk was this close. So looks like Felix van Dijk genuinely has an upper hand over Sander Callas, but we'll see what will happen in the next couple of laps.
What's interesting is that Callas still has the fastest lap of the race, but yeah, it hasn't exactly worked out for him on the consistency front yet.
Yeah, that's probably because the options get slower. They are basically very quick for the one hot lap, and then they get slower. And you are about, I don't know, 2-3 tenths slower per lap, no matter what you do. So basically the lap time you set in the first couple of laps is the time you'll have. And actually I think Sander Callas had a little bit of a moment there. And now the gap down to 1 second.
The trio of the flag-to-flag cars are absolutely on top of each other.
Yeah, definitely very close. And actually, I think Scrimmins could attack Ayres here. No. Yeah, had a lot of understeer, sorry. So yeah, not a chance for an overtaking maneuver there. And surprisingly, Cody Blanton is not catching the guys ahead, so
yeah,
that is interesting to see.
What's interesting about that as well is that I don't think that's going to be a dirty air issue as well, because that's a much bigger gap than I would have thought for dirty air.
Yeah, and actually Van der Waait has made a mistake. I think in the second corner.
He's smoking as well.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, he understeered too much, clipped the gravel. Ban has done a 540. Then spec back around. Span around again and rejoined in 18th place, which is right now the last position.
Felix van Dijk,
yeah,
really closing that gap.
Yeah, the gap down to 7 tenths, so I guess he's gonna have a slipstream effect of some sort. It's not going to be too strong, but it's something, and it's gonna only help him his attempts to get ahead.
The slipstream will only really benefit those who are already fast to begin with, and we know that Felix van Dijk has been faster than than Callas for the last. Well, it's been a consistency for the last really 10 laps or so.
Yeah, definitely. And Alves has now gone past Halpep, and he has Harry Frostland right behind him, and there's going to be a battle between the two teammates, and Halpep lets Rosland through into 15th place.
So we are seeing probably a little bit of an uptake in overtaking so far anyway. But I think most of the teams right now will be settling into their strategy decisions and what they might be able to do, and if they can change their strategies, or whether or not they can make their fuel last a little bit longer.
Felix van Dijk has gained another 10th, lost a little bit of time in the second corner, could have been a little bit closer. But you can see he's right on the back of him now. And this is gonna get feisty very, very soon. Callas didn't have the best exit actually out of the hairpin, and the gap is now down to 4 tenths.
What's interesting as well is that the rest of the field haven't really been going back any further either from Callas.
Yeah,
it's remained consistent. So I'm wondering if Callas maybe is struggling with his tires, perhaps.
Yeah, very well could be. And the gaps overall are increasing as Najam, his rear backed out, and he's just so managed to not spin it. But Ayres is now really close. And speaking of close, Felix van Dijk hasn't gained much. Gained another 10th. to the gap now 5 tenths. It was 7 tenths 2 laps ago, 6 tenths 1 lap ago, and it's now 5 tenths. So he's just bit by bit getting closer. And I think it's just only a matter of time until they really start fighting.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to keep in mind as well is that when you are in that close position behind the driver in front, the slightest move by them may put you off and you can make a mistake in a sector here and there that you might not normally, because you're trying.
Oh, Ayres makes a mistake. The dirty air was too strong for him, and he runs wide out of the first chicane.
Oh, that's cost him.
Yeah, and he's down to 8th place behind Cody Blanton.
It could have been a lot worse for him, but yeah, he's lost about maybe 3, maybe 4 seconds there.
Yeah, he definitely has lost a lot of time. Which is a big shame, obviously, for him. It seems like that the drivers are struggling a lot with the first chicane there. The turn 6 and Cody Blanton makes a mistake. Coming out of the final chicane, and Ayres goes through into 7th.
That's a gift for Ayres, I think.
Yeah, definitely is.
Van Delft has dropped back now by about a half a second.
Yeah.
So I think everybody is starting to struggle out there at the moment.
Yeah, not a lot of close gaps actually. There's at least like 2 seconds or 1 second at least between all the drivers, except for the battle for first, the battle for 11 basically.
Yeah, it's not. It's spread out quite a bit, and there is some people who are closer to others, but there are big gaps opening up in places.
Yeah, the first pit stops are going to come really soon. I think in the next 3 to 5 laps we're going to see the first pit stops. And now suddenly putting Oslakovic under pressure, and it shows now that the primes are faster than the options at this stage. Because Sadly is really putting Oslakovic under big, immense pressure.
Yeah, I think you're right that the prime tires are now the tires to be on. They're the tires of choice. But you know, there's a lot of options that are open to people as well in terms of when they put their faster sets on.
I think we could see an overtaking attempt pretty soon.
And we have
Thomas
Alves in the
Sadly.
pits.
Yeah, Alves in the pits, so we have our first guy in the pits, and he goes for the prime tires. Did he repair his front wing? No. Still is missing the end plate on the right hand side.
He must feel like he hasn't got too much damage then affecting him.
Yeah, I don't think it affects him too much. I think he was now surprised by the amount of grip he has with the fresh tires. Yeah, that's something you need to adapt to, because you need to go quick right from the start of a new stint, because it's pretty tough to adapt to either a different set of tires.
Oh,
And as I said, he makes a mistake again. That chicane. There's been like 5 drivers that spun there at least.
you're right as well. There's not only you have the new tires to contend with, but then you've also got. Was that a crash I just heard there?
Oh, help up.
Oh,
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be too much damage to him, at least.
Yeah, I don't think he touched the wall. I think he just spun coming out of the second chicane.
He has damage to his front wing, and I can't remember if that was there beforehand.
I think it. Well, I'll take a quick look. Oh, I think he lost. Oh, he lost it there. Yeah. Oh yeah, he actually clipped the ground basically, because he went flying into the air a little bit, and when he went back down to the ground, he lost a bit of his end plate there on the left hand side. So it's definitely not going to help him. And this Scrivens really putting Najam now under pressure. The gap is only 3/10 at the start of the lap. We'll see if he can get a good exit, get out of his dirty air. Oh, he was too tight and lost a lot of time.
Yeah, it's at this phase of the race now as well that it may be better for one of these drivers to stop now, put a fresh set of tires on, and then try an undercut.
Yeah, Van der Weyde was also in the pits. It's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna pit first. If it's either going to be Felix van Daft or Sander Kellas, and it's going to be interesting what these drivers choose as their strategy, because we talked about it in the warm-up. The drivers are either going to choose a double option or double prime. At least it seems like it.
Yeah, it'll be particularly interesting because, if you go with the primes, yeah, you'll have a slower initial phase of your stint. But we're seeing other drivers now.
Yeah, Sander Kellas now not happy with the fact that Van der Weyde ahead of him is slowing him down. He is slowing him down by quite a mile, because Felix van der Weyde has gained like a half a second there.
Oh,
and he's very mad about it.
and Dylan Scrivens has lost his rear wing.
Oh, and he's out of the race then. Oh, he's coming into the pits. It could get repaired as well, and Araneda also in the pits. So let's see if Scrivens can get his rear wing repaired. But he also has... Oh, I don't think he will get it repaired. He also has suspension damage.
It'll be about a minute or so if he can get it repaired.
I think it's game over for Dylan Scrivens, which is a big shame. He was running in the top 5.
That is a real shame. Did we have any idea what had happened to him there?
I'll take a quick look.
I don't think it was contact with anybody.
I'll take a quick look. Oh yeah. Oh, actually. Oh, Jesus Christ! Araneda just crashed right into him. Went straight into him. Oh yeah, he went wide. And he was just a passenger. Oh, and clipped the back of Dylan Scrivens. That was a massive crash.
Well, Scrivens has got the rear wing back on and he's out.
Yeah, Araneda was a passenger at that point. He couldn't do anything to avoid it, but still, it was his fault, no matter what. So that's why both of these drivers went to the pits, and Scrivens is out of the race. And Alves also. Must have something happened to him. Oh, he went again wide. Coming out of the first chicane, the turn 6. I think it is. Again, onto the gravel. And he just went full throttle into the wall.
Ooh.
So that is the 4th retirement, and all had suspension damage, so... Yeah, not good. Not good at all. So both drivers are going to continue into lap 20. Or is it lap 21 already? I think it's lap 21 now that they are started. So is somebody gonna come into the pits? Yes, Najam coming into the pits.
We've also had
Cody
Harley
Blanton.
Hammond stop earlier as well, so that'll be it's right at that point now where I think everybody's going to be stopping.
Yeah, Blanton into the pits as well. Both of these drivers going onto the prime tire. But actually it looks like that Najam has fueled the car quite a bit, so it looks like he's gonna go for an option stint at the end. Devold now also in the pits, and he goes for the options. He started on the primes. Osakovic was also in the pits. He has went for another option stint. All these drivers really close together.
Hammond has put on a set of options there as well.
So this is gonna get interesting. Is any of these drivers, is Kellas gonna pit? Is Felix van Dove gonna pit? It's lap 21. Are they gonna pit? Felix van Dove continues. Sending Kellas into the pits. Let's see. He goes into the primes. Is this gonna be a long stop?
And he's away.
It was a pretty short stop, so I think he's going for a double prime stint. But now Felix Vanda is gonna have to push like hell. The primes, from what I have heard from other drivers, they take around 2 laps to properly heat up.
That could exactly be the time for Felix to put the hammer down.
Felix now needs to put the hammer down and push like he has never pushed before if he wants to come back out in front of Santa Callas. The gap is 18 seconds. The pit stop is relatively short. So we'll see. Can Felix van Dove get ahead? And he's increasing the gap actually. So this could get interesting.
So
He's in the
Ayres
pit.
is...
Yeah, he's coming into the pits. So what's going to happen here then? It's gonna be really close. This is gonna be really, really close, I think.
Yeah,
Santa Callas now in the final chicane. Oh, this is gonna be so close, but I think Santa Callas is gonna do it. Yes. And Ayres closely behind them, but he still hasn't stopped yet. And Felix van Dove just comes out ahead. So yeah, the gap is pretty much the same. Not many changes done there, and now Ayres actually, he's not gonna try and attack. He knows he's not fighting with him.
He was looking rather punchy coming down to the hairpin there.
Pelling also went to the pits, went for another set of options. And I don't think anybody else is gonna stop right now. And though I think Michael Ayres is gonna pit pretty soon, I think this lap is gonna be the lap when he's gonna pit. And there's actually a battle between Satterley and Najam. And Satterley has gone through to 6th place, but Satterley hasn't pitted yet. But of course he's faster now, because he's on low fuel. And Santa Callas increasing the gap just a little bit. Of course, his tires are a little bit more heated up than Felix's. And as I said, that Michael Ayres coming into the pits.
Yeah,
for his scheduled pit stop.
He was the last of the runners, I think, with the prime or with the option tires that he'd started on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so as well. And it was a pretty short stop. Is he gonna come out ahead of Najam? Yes, he is. And I think he's gonna come out ahead even of Satterley. It's going to be really close between. Obviously, Satterley hasn't stopped yet, like I said a minute ago.
Yeah, that's.
But I think there could be a battle between these two.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty critical that he stays out ahead of Satterley.
Yeah, that would be really, really critical. He needs to stay ahead, but he very, very. Oh, Jesus Christ! Very late on the brakes from Michael Ayres, but sadly gets ahead into 5th place.
That's a great result for Satterley. That's he's been running from the very start with those prime tires, so he does need to make a stop. But that's kind of gonna hurt Ayres a bit now. He's gonna be stuck behind him.
Oh yeah. This is interesting. Lucas Schmidt.
Oh, Satterley's just gone off.
Oh, Satterley's gone off. Oh, he's gonna have to be very careful with the rejoining. Please, Satterley. Nice.
Yeah.
Down to 8th though. Lost 3 positions and a lot of time. And now Cody Blanton, he's gonna pressure Najam for 6th place. We've got 15 runners out of 20 remaining in the race. And Santa Callas increasing the gap to Felix van Dove. So it looks like that Santa Callas has the initial pace, but then his tires drop a little bit sooner than for Felix. Okay.
continuing to pile the pressure onto Najam at the moment. Less than half a second separates these two drivers.
Yeah.
But they're both still coming quite close to Michael Ayres as well. I mean, he's not that far ahead of them. He's only about a second and a half ahead. And that's a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Oh yeah, now I know why Lucas Schmidt is in 4th, because he hasn't pitted it. He started on the primes. So that's why he's so ahead.
So he'll probably be stopping within the next few laps.
Yeah, Cody Blanton actually really close to Najam now. He actually had a look into the airpin, but didn't actually try and overtake.
Looking a bit further down the grid, then we've got Breslin in 9th, with Dwaldnell again, similarly to Najam and Blanton, all over the back of them. Less than half a second separates the two of them.
Okay, so now we have a screen again, so we're back live. Thank you for the patience. Now we're gonna continue with the action. Cody Blanton, an oversteering moment there, but he's really close actually to Najam. He could try and overtake on going into the back straight. Manages to avoid the dirty air, and this could be a chance. This could be a great chance for Cody Blanton, the American driver for ACR, going for an attack on Najam. Side by side coming into the hairpin. Oh, it's really close between them. Blanton almost touching the grass, and again Blanton tries it round the outside, but it won't work.
There was just nowhere to go from there, really.
It worked on Felix van Delft on lap 1. It hasn't worked on lap 27 on Najam.
Najam fiercely closed the door over there, not giving him any room to get around, which is he's entitled to.
Yeah, definitely.
Dwaldnell still piling the pressure onto Breslin then in 9th and 10th.
Yeah, and they also have Oslakovic behind them. Oh! Araneda makes a mistake and goes right into the wall, loses his rear wing, and he's out of the race.
Oh.
Again, these chicanes. I bet these drivers hate the chicanes on these tracks, both the first and the second. We've seen a lot of drivers make mistakes there. And yeah, it's another retirement.
But this
Sadly, was in the pits actually. He's in 12th on the options.
This is why it was that Scrivens really wanted to try and get back out, even though he may have been 1 or 2 minutes behind the lead driver. You know, he would have been in the points at this place in the race.
Oh yeah.
And Van Delft really closing the gap to Carlos again.
Oh, that was really close between Blanton and Najam. Blanton nearly ran into the back of Najam there. It was really close, and Lucas Schmidt into the pits on lap 28, at the end of lap 28. And again, Felix van Delft closing the gap down, so the initial pace has gone away from Sander Callas once again. And now Felix van Delft can start putting him under pressure. Behind them, Hamnet in 3rd place. So very good job from him, and he's on the options. So that is interesting. And now, oh, Lucas Schmidt, he has a penalty. He's sped in the pits, he has a drive-through penalty.
Oh.
As he's putting Dave Paling under pressure, going for the attack into the airpin, not gonna work.
It's so easy to do that with your pit entrance. You're really trying to maximize the amount of time that you've got, but if you're just that little bit too late, it really costs you more than any benefit you may have gotten.
Yeah. And the pit entry is very close, so it's very hard to Oh, it's pretty easy to make a mistake there. Oh, Vasiliev. Oh, a lap down, and he nearly took out Hamlet there. Wow. Or the other way around. Hamlet nearly took out Vasiliev because he wasn't getting out of the way. And Van Daft again. Closer and closer now. The gap half a second. Cody Blanton still can't get past Najam.
And we have Breslin in the pits now as well.
Oh yeah, and Schmidt served his drive-through penalty, comes out in 10th place. And Breslin in the pits, like you said, going for the option tires. And he's going to come out comfortably in 12th place because Vasiliev is half a minute down.
So with that, we've had everybody now who's on track has made at least one stop.
Yeah.
Lucas Smith has served his penalty drive-through as well. And he's come out behind 9th place of us already.
So we're not even halfway.
Oh, and
in this
Lucas
race.
Schmidt's getting a bit punchy.
Oh, Jesus, that's very, very close with Oslakovic. I think Oslakovic made a mistake because he was very, very close to DeWalt now there. So Oslakovic probably made a mistake. I wonder if it was the first chicane again. Oh, no, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, it was. But it was actually... Oh, yeah, he outbraked himself. In turn 7, I think. After the first chicane. Oh, that is a big shame for him. And Cody Blanton again pretty close, but not close enough. And he goes for a dive bomb down the inside. Oh, they touch. And he spins Najam around. And this is a dream come true for Dave Penning, who gets
He's
through
been
drivers.
gifted 5th position there now.
Yeah, and that is unfortunately Cody's fault, and he even lets DeWalt now through.
That was unusual. I'm not sure what his, whether he has more damage than we realised there, because he seemed to just back right off there.
Yeah, that is a shame for Cody Blanton, but he tried it and he failed. So what happens?
I know you're not going to gain any positions by not trying, but
Yeah, this is certainly not the way to do it, of course.
No.
So like I said, we're not even halfway through this race, and it already feels like eternity. Oh, Cody Blanton nearly totaled it. Once again. So Cody has the pace, but he's struggling to, be consistent and not make any mistakes.
Yeah, he's made a number of mistakes now since that incident, so he just needs to get the head down and get back into the groove of it again.
Yeah.
Harry Hamlet has actually been he's been consistently about 5 seconds behind the first two, and that's been rather impressive of him as well.
Yeah, but he's on the options, so that's helping him quite a lot. But still, it's impressive, no matter what. So Felix van Duff can't get close enough.
Every time he does seem to close the gap, something happens and he drops back by 2 or 3 tenths. So he's obviously not finding that either the slipstream or the dirty air has been reduced or increased enough to be able to allow him to get by.
Yeah. So we've got DeWalt now and Najam pretty close together, fighting for 6th place. Otherwise, not really any battles on the track at the moment, which is a shame, of course, but I think it's going to get more interesting at the second half of the race with the different strategies.
Well, if Lucas Schmidt keeps on driving the way he is, he's going to come up to the back of Cody Blanton very quickly.
Well, we'll see.
Sander Kallas, he can't afford to take. Oh, Astokovic is out.
Oh, Stokovic is out. Let's take a look what happened. Oh, again the chicane. And he gave up. He was just like, nah, I'm done. I've had enough, and quit. So that is the 7th retirement, which means 13 drivers out of 20 continue on. The world now still pretty close, but Cody Blanton actually closing the gap down. And Hamnet losing a little bit of time as well. The gap now over 6 seconds. Between Felix van Duft and Sander Kallas, still the usual 7/10, not much change there. But Felix van Duft is gonna have to make sure that he goes longer in the stint if he wants to get ahead.
That's it. I mean, he was 1 lap longer on that last stint. It looked like he's going to need at least 2, maybe even 3 laps to be able to make that difference.
Yep. That is if Sander Kallas goes on another set of primes. If he doesn't, then I don't think it would really matter because he's going to have fresh options and he's going to be massively quick. So Felix is going to have to pray that he's either going to have to pray that Kallas will pit Tuner and go on the primes so that Felix has a chance of passing him, or he needs to do it on track.
Well, I mean, if Felix could still, even if Kallas did have the option tires, yes, he might be quicker for the first phase of the stint. But even we've seen other drivers now have been able to make their the primes last so much longer, and they're a lot faster by the end of the stint.
Yeah. So Schmidt's still closing the gap. He actually closed it down by a second, so it's very impressive. And I think we could have a nice 4-way battle going on for 6th place in the next couple of laps. Najem, De Woldnel, Cody Blanton, and Lucas Schmidt. These drivers are getting closer and closer.
It's
to each other.
Definitely the nearest fight on track at the moment, at least.
It is.
Lucas Schmidt continues to close that gap.
Yeah, another second down, but he's also on the option tires while the others are on prime, so that of course is helping him quite a lot. Let's see if Cody will perhaps let Schmidt through. We'll see what will happen, or if he's gonna fight for the position no matter what.
I certainly know that we'll have team members who are sitting behind the scenes with a bit tense and nervous at this point, even if there is going to be a swap of places, saying that they're
no! And he takes out Cody Blanton with him.
Oh no!
And Cody Blanton has a damage on the front wing. I think he lost a bit of end plate on the left hand side. That is a big shame.
This is exactly what I was just talking about, that when you have team members who are driving that close to each other, it doesn't matter whether or not it's been arranged or not been arranged. It's a tense and nervous time.
Yeah. And he's in the pits. The Wold now. Repair the damage. And he's down to 11th place. Oh, and Vasiliev makes a mistake as well.
Oh,
and
he's out of the race.
Rear wing actually. I think he's gonna be out of the race. Where did he make a mistake? What the hell? Oh, he already lost his rear wing there. Okay. Oh yeah, he lost it on the curb actually. That is a new. On the curb of the second corner. That is a new thing.
Yeah, and he's parking it up there now. He's out of the race. He tried to make it back to the pits, but I think he's made the right choice by just retiring there. Van Delft really close to the back of Callis right now. Only 4/10 separating them.
Oh yeah. So now we will have no battles on track as Vasiliev is out of the race, so we have 12 drivers continuing. So we should watch those two at the front. And he's really close. Very, very close.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can keep that gap on this level for the first 2 corners. If he can, there could be an actual chance for an overtake here. One has a little bit of the dirty air there, but it's not too effective, but still hasn't gained anything. Matter of fact, he lost almost a tenth, but he's very, very close.
Just not close enough now for the hairpin now.
Yeah. Definitely needs a 1 or 2 tenths. That's all he needs.
He just needs to keep this up, keep the pressure on Callis, and
Yeah.
hopefully he can close it just by another 10th, because that's all he needs.
All he needs is a one very, very small mistake from Santa Callas, and he will get him. Well, he's not as close as he was last time, but he's still relatively close. Maybe the slipstream effect or the dirty air effect won't be so strong here. And he might actually get a little bit closer. No.
No,
even
he's
further away than he was last time.
just a smidge further back now at this point.
And I think Hamlet is gonna pit relatively soon as well.
Yeah, he's started to lose quite a lot of time there now.
Yeah, the options are falling off. The gap now over 10 seconds between Van Delft and Hamlet. And Dave Paling in the pits for a set of options. I don't think that's gonna last till the end.
That I'm hoping that we just haven't seen the tires updating yet, because I can't imagine those options will last that long.
Because I think he wanted to go on the primes, not on the options. Because he's got some 30 laps to go and he can't do that.
No.
On the options, there's no way. Because if he would do that, his tires would have blown up with around, I don't know, 5 laps to go or something.
Easily.
So...
well, he'll have to make another stop, and Harley Hamlet is in the pits now.
Yeah, so if this was the second stop for Paling, he's gonna have to do a free stop, which is gonna hurt him quite a lot. As like you said, Hamlet in the pits, and he's gone for the prime tires. He hasn't been on those yet, and he's gonna go to the end of the race. Ers is gonna come out ahead for now, but it looks like that Hamlet will be safe and sound in the final podium position if his engine doesn't blow up.
Yeah,
if he just saw smoke.
That was a bit. It's always a concern to see smoke coming out the back of the car like that. And I know it was after he had been stationary for a few seconds, and so your temperatures will spike a little bit. So I'm hoping that's all it was, and that he hasn't been running high temps for quite a large period of this race.
Yeah. So Felix Van Delft and Santa Callas have actually a bit of traffic ahead of them. I think it is the Volt now. So that could, have its part in the battle between these two for the lead, and Felix Van Delft again pretty close.
I mean, this is it. We're at the phase of the race now where even a backmarker just being slightly out of position, not being fully aware of what was coming up behind them, that's what can make the difference between first and second in this race now.
Yeah. It looks like Felix van Delft doesn't have enough turn-in the second corner, because even when he avoids the dirty air, he just can't get close enough. So it's going to be really, really difficult for Felix van Delft to get ahead.
Yeah, he's a little bit closer now than he was again.
Yeah. But there is still 28 and a half laps to go, so a lot can happen. As I heard some crashing noises, and it is Lucas Schmidt.
Oh no.
Let's take a look. He was behind Najam, I think, and Najam actually made a mistake there. And they went side by side into the chicane, and they both made contact, which sent Lucas wide. And I think Lucas actually, yeah, he lost a bit of end plate on the left-hand side. Well, I'd like to take a look at that again. Because I think Najam, yeah. Well, that's too hard to say. Whose fault is it? I think, on one hand, it was a suicidal move from Lucas. On the other hand, Najam didn't leave any space, so I think it's a little bit of 50-50.
Might be down to just a racing incident, I'm afraid.
Yeah, probably yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a moment like that when the red mist comes down and all you can see is the opposition for promotion in a place, and I think maybe both drivers had a bit of a moment of that.
Yeah, definitely. And now we have a battle for 7th place between Blanton and Dave Paling. Dave Paling on the options. So this could get very, very interesting.
Certainly, if Paling wants to be able to make the most of this strategy that he's on now, he's going to need to clear Blanton as quickly as he possibly can.
Yes, exactly. And he could try down the inside. Brakes a little bit later than Cody, but he's still too far behind to actually make an overtake. So he's gonna have to wait for another lap or two to have another go. Hopefully for him, be a bit closer.
So looking down the grid, the only battle on track at the moment is between Satterley and Waldnell. Only about a second and a half is separating those two.
Yeah, well, we basically have two very close battles. That's for the lead and for 7th place between Blanton and Paling. Then we'll now on fresh, I think, option, and suddenly comes to the pits. Okay. And I assume he's gonna go for a set of prime tires to go to the end, so that battle is over. Oh, and they're pairing very, very close to Cody Blanton. They have, I think, that is Gerald van der Weyt right ahead of them. So let's see if he can have a part in this battle. Not the best entry into the chicane for Dave Paling. Luckily enough, he didn't go wide and do the same ahead of him. And Cody Blanton actually had a snap of oversteer and touched the grass there, so he lost a little bit of time, but luckily for him, he's still ahead of Dave Paling. And Ari Frostland has spun, and he lost his rear wing. That is probably game 4 over for him, and I think it was again the first chicane. Yet another victim. That is
How many drivers
incredible.
have we seen do that now on this race?
Probably like half of the grid.
At least.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, again, clipped the curb there. That sent him wide, and yeah, that's game over for Ari Frostland. Unfortunately, I think.
Paling is all over the back of Cody at the moment. And he's actually going to have a look around the outside here.
Oh, van der Weyt needs to be very careful to let these drivers through, and he actually helped Cody a little bit there.
That has worked out quite well for Cody.
Yeah, definitely it did. Yeah, and I think Ari Frostland, he needs to
Van Delft was in the
Van Delft into the wall. That is. Oh god.
Doesn't seem to have any.
He clipped. Oh, in the second corner, he clipped the gravel and went into the wall. Luckily for him, it wasn't. It was a big hit, but
He doesn't seem to have any visible damage anyway.
Yeah.
His suspension could be off, but
we'll see. Oh, I think he has a very, very incredibly minor suspension damage.
that's good to hear. But he's got a
yeah.
huge challenge in front of him now if he wants to be able to continue challenging for the lead.
Yeah, I think if Callas won't make any mistake, I think it's game over for Felix.
Yeah.
This mistake will be very, very crucial for him. Because he's now losing 6 seconds. So the only battle on track that we have is between Paling and Blanton. They also have Schmidt ahead of them, so that could be interesting, as well as Arif Roslan. Actually, I think his engine went off in the pits, and I think he's out of the race. Or maybe he just turned off the engine.
Well, that would be the only way to save the engine from. I mean, that's I think what happened with Dylan.
Yeah. So let's see what's gonna. Oh, and he's going. Oh, but he has huge suspension damage. I think it's game over for him.
Yeah. And the only thing about it is, even if it is difficult to drive with only 12 people running at the moment.
Yeah, and he's gonna probably stop. Oh no, he's going.
He's trying to feed himself back in a little bit there, I think.
He's gonna try it for a lap or to see how it feels. He can continue. Oh no, the car is pulling so much. Yeah, and it's game over.
And Cody Blanton has made his stop, and he's back out again.
Okay, so that is basically almost half of the grid out of the race. Out of 20 people, we have 11 drivers in the race. And like you said, Cody Blanton was in the pits for his final stop for the prime tires. 24 laps to go, something like that. We're going to see what's going to happen. And now Dave Paling gonna get Lucas Schmidt under pressure a little bit now.
Yeah, he's really picked up the pace now since Cody has stopped.
Yeah. And he's actually getting very, very close. He's much quicker than Lucas Schmidt is.
Again, he is using those much fresher tires than Lucas Schmidt is on. But both drivers do need to stop one more time at this point. We presume Dave Paling is going to stop because there's almost no way that he can get those tires to last until the end. And Callas is into the pits to make what will be his last stop of the race.
And he's going for the options, so yeah.
This will be interesting to see now what Van Delft will be doing, because this will be the story of the race that could have been.
Well, I'm gonna use this opportunity to say that if you want to get yourself into this league and want to compare yourself with the best drivers in the rFactor 2 community at least, then check the description. There should be a link, and get yourself signed up. And also don't forget to check our Facebook and Twitter, where I believe we have some live updates even. So don't forget to check that. And as I said that, Lucas Schmidt into the pits.
As is Najam as well. And Michael Ayers has also made his stop.
And Najam also, yeah. And Felix found out into the pits. I bet he's gonna go on another set of options there.
Yeah. So let's see how far behind he is when he comes back out.
I think it's going to be like 6 seconds. Somewhere between 5 and 6. Yeah, 5.1. So he got a little bit closer, but closing down by 5 seconds in the last 20 laps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a tall order. It is a very tall order to have to do.
Yeah, especially when Callis has the initial pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the gap up to 6 seconds, so...
That's a real shame for Felix.
Yeah, it doesn't look too likely for him to be fighting for the win if Callis doesn't make a mistake. But he has been incredibly consistent and doing a very, very good job so far. Really showing why he is the best driver in the Ace division. And quite deservedly, he's the championship leader, so...
Yeah, he was completely unfazed by Van Delft, even though Van Delft was arguably that little bit quicker than him. He was just didn't bother him. He kept his head down. He just got the job done as he went.
Yeah, exactly like you said.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised by how many people we've seen being affected by that chicane. It's been, it's caught quite a few people out that I wouldn't have expected to be caught out by it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree on that. So there's actually quite big gaps now between the drivers. Not much happening on the track. Got, like I said, 20 laps to go. Almost 19. So we'll see what will happen.
I think we can safely say at this point in the race that there won't be any rain either.
Yeah.
Which would have been a nice maybe sprinkle to shake things up a bit towards the end.
Yeah, the sky is absolutely clear. No clouds whatsoever. I don't think we're gonna see any rain anytime soon.
So I believe the nearest battle on track at the moment is between Lucas Schmidt and Wald Nell.
Yep.
They're only about 2 seconds apart from each other.
Yeah, around 2.5 seconds. Also, Najem 2.5 seconds ahead of Lucas Schmidt, so that could be interesting if Schmidt can close him down.
And with Dave Paling presumably going to be making another stop in the next maybe 5 laps or so, maybe. Certainly, I would imagine it. If he is going to be making a stop again, it would have to be within that time frame for him to maximise those sets of tyres that he'd be using.
Yeah.
That should bring him out somewhere close to Lucas Schmidt and Wald Nell as well.
So a lot of drivers actually on the option tires. From the top 7 at least, the only driver out of the top 7, only Hamnet is on the primes. He's had a pretty lonely race, but yeah, very good effort from him and a very good performance so far.
Yeah, I think he'll be.
Yeah.
I think he'll be particularly happy with this now as a really nice big points haul for him.
Yeah, and not only that, I think he is a pro driver.
I believe
regularly.
he is.
So that is a very good performance for a pro driver. Definitely it is.
It has to be said that the Pro League this year very competitive, and a lot of the top drivers from Pro, I mean, arguably they could be in here racing an ace for, you know, within the top 10 perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's actually just been brought to my attention that Michael Ayres is actually catching the back of Harley Hamnet at quite a rate of knots.
Yeah, because Michael Ayres is on the options and Hamlet on the primes, so we should watch that. Let's see how it develops. And Schmidt is also getting closer to Najam. He has Van der Weydt again ahead of him, and we know that he has had trouble letting other drivers past. And you can see he's not letting him through.
No.
That is just insane. And look at that, he's lost already a second to Najam now.
That's, yeah, he
All
really
due
needs
to the back marker, that is. And De Wolf now into the pits again, going for another set of options.
Van der Weydt really needs to get out of the way.
So,
And is he going to defend here? No, he doesn't. Okay, that's the way to do it. You let off the accelerator and just let them go around you.
yeah, and De Wolf now on fresh options. I think he's going to be massively quick. He's got 9.5 seconds between himself and Blanton, but I think he could catch him. Blanton on the primes, and now De Wolf now on very, very fresh options.
Yeah, and it's a similar situation between Michael Ayres and Harley Hamnet.
Yeah. And also he's quite low on fuel with, 16 laps to go. So he's going to be massively quick.
He'll certainly be putting those option tires through to their maximum at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, Ayres really, really closing the gap. It was like 6.5 seconds, and it's coming down.
5.8 at the moment.
Yeah.
And still, 16 laps to go?
Yep. 16.5, so, or 15.5.
The question will be now whether or not they can actually pass on track.
Yeah.
Catching is one thing, passing is quite another.
Yeah, that it is. And Lucas Schmidt again lost time to Najam there. Probably made a mistake. The gap is now 2.5 seconds.
Schmidt will have to try and close that gap that he's lost from the back marker that time. As he had closed that gap up rather quickly himself. And he's got to do a lot of that work again.
Oh yeah. Michael Ayres locking up. Losing a little bit of time, but nothing too dramatic.
Gap between Hamnet and Ayres is down to 5 seconds at this point. He's slowed down just a little bit compared to what the progress he's been making, but it's still enough that he can still get out and maybe have a go in the last 5 laps or so.
Yeah, he needs to make use of the options while he can, because the momentum is going to change once the prime tires will get faster than the options.
Dave Paling has made his final stop of the race. He's going to come out just behind Lucas Schmidt. It's close.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to see. I think he's going to try and overtake it right away. Oh yeah, he's going to go for it. So, something interesting happening, and look at that. Side by side into the airpin. Schmidt versus Penning, and Penning braking really late. Oh, he's gonna... Oh, he's not gonna do it, I think, but there's still... Oh, look at Schmidt squeezing him out. Is he gonna stay ahead? Oh, Dave Penning actually think about going around the outside into the chicane. That would be absolutely insane if that would have worked. But Schmidt just about manages to stay ahead.
That was very close.
Well, that was
Good
very
racing
close
from these
indeed.
two.
So Ayres now closed the gap by 8 tenths in the last lap.
That's more what he needs to do. And Hamlet will be really starting to feel that pressure now. He'll be seeing him now in his rear mirrors.
Yeah, just about. Ayres just can see him just about in the distance. That little dot. But let's take a look at the fight for the 6th place. As Van der Weydt in the pits for another set of options. So can Paling try something now? No.
And this is exactly what Jam will be looking for, because these two fighting each other means that they'll be compromising their own speed somewhat and giving him a little bit more breathing room.
Oh yeah. Looks like the Ayres just gained a tenth or two. So not much of an progress.
Oh, a little bit out of shape there from Dave Paling coming out of the final turn.
Oh yeah. Gonna have to be careful and not overdrive it.
So easy to do.
Oh yeah, that's very, very easy to do.
But he does close that gap right up again. He definitely has the speed.
Yeah, it's very hard to be careful, especially with the options which are very dependent on the way you drive the car. Oh, and then Schmidt goes wide. But Dave Paling can't make use of it. Was too far behind.
He needs to close up that gap right up as close as possible to be able to capitalize on those kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
And at this point, that looks like it might be the only way that he will get by.
Yeah, it looks like Schmidt is starting to struggle a little bit with 11 laps to go. He could try it now, actually. He could be close enough to have at least a look, and Lucas goes defensive. And Dave Paling very late. Now he's gonna try the switchback. Is it gonna be successful? Doesn't look like it.
So this is the thing, he doesn't actually need to have it work every time. He just needs to keep Lucas Schmidt guessing as to what exactly is going to come next.
Yeah.
Pressuring him and just harrying him to make that mistake that just allows the door to open just enough for him to get by.
Yeah. And Ayres is not closing the gap anymore.
No,
and
in
it has
fact,
increased the gap now, so it looks like that the prime tires are now faster than the options once again.
Well, it was a nice try.
Oh yeah.
And it still could possibly work for him if he maybe he had just a couple of bad laps, but it certainly seems like his window of opportunity is closing. The gap between Smith and Najam is also only at about 2 seconds there now
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
it's coming down actually. It was like 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has come down by like 8/10 in the last lap, so this could actually turn into a freeway battle for P5. While, yeah, I think it's over for Airs.
I think so. He's been able to maintain the gap at the moment, but
Yeah.
can't afford to be only maintaining it at the moment.
Oh yeah, so the only battle I think we're gonna receive in the last 8-9 laps is the fight between Schmidt and Paling, and possibly also between Najam, as he has been out of shape coming out of the airpin there.
He's starting to really struggle out there on those tires.
Oh yeah, looks like it. Even though these two guys are battling, they're still catching him, so...
I mean, the thing with it is with Smith and Paling at the moment, while they're battling each other, they're not really compromising their speed a huge amount.
Yeah.
If they were closer and they were having a little bit of a duck and dive here and there, that might be compromising them more. But it's really just more of a psychological battle out there at the moment than it is anything else. And that's actually having the effect of pushing them harder and faster than they may otherwise be going.
Yeah. That could very well be. Oh, Schmidt out of shape, and Dave Pelly goes for it, and he's ahead.
That's the very mistake that Dave Paling has been waiting for quite a while now.
Oh yeah. But
It'll be
now,
interesting to see,
Lucas
does-
Schmidt could come back. Schmidt could come back very easily. But I think he's too far away now.
I think so, and this will be interesting now to see what Dave Paling can do to catch up to the back of the jam, and that could be another opportunity for Lucas Smith to come right back into it then as well.
Yeah. So this could get also interesting, like you said, for the battle for P5. Now, thanks to this fight, Najam has increased the gap by a little bit, up to 3 seconds again. So we'll see what's going to happen next.
Let's keep an eye on Dave Paling's lap times now as well, because he was stuck behind Lucas Smith and seemed to be the faster of the two. Now the cork's out of the bottle, he could be putting in some nice tasty lap times.
Yeah. Definitely agreed.
And I'm not sure what happened to Michael Ayres, but he's now almost a full 10 seconds behind
Yeah,
Hamlet.
I saw that as well. He probably did a mistake. I don't really think he would lose that much time due to pace only.
Apparently he had a
made him-
small spin.
Yeah, that would explain it. Lucas Schmidt not giving up. He's still very, very close to Dave Paling. But both guys catching Najam, so this could get very, very feisty in the final couple of laps.
And Satterley's in the pits again.
Oh,
I'm not sure what
Well,
happened there.
that's-
It's surely an unscheduled stop.
oh, it has to be.
Perhaps a fuel miscalculation, perhaps?
Oh well, could very well be. You know, so.
I don't think it's affected him at all. I don't think he's lost a place from it.
Mm. Yeah, we can only debate on that and guess what is the reasoning, but could be fuel. On the other hand, I think the teams have or are perfectly ready for all the fuel calculations and stuff. So, but it's still definitely a possibility. It could happen. And Lucas Schmidt now losing time actually to Dave Paling. The gap over 1.5 seconds, so it looks like it's just going to be between Paling and Najam. The gap is now under 2 seconds between these two drivers, so in the last couple of laps this could get very, very interesting for the battle for P5.
Yeah, I mean, his last lap there was 0.3 faster than his previous 2 laps behind Smith, so that's really the cork out of the bottle on that one.
So 5 laps to go. And the gap between Najam and Paling still 1.7 seconds. It's definitely possible for him, I think, to close the gap. And but it's going to be very, very hard to actually try and overtake with just 4.5 laps to go.
Yeah. But again, it's the question of whether or not it's going to put the pressure on the driver in front and perhaps make a mistake.
Yeah. The gap now down to 1.4. Definitely closing the gap. The gap now down to 1.2 actually.
We now have a new fastest lap of the race.
Oh.
And that's for Satterley. So it's at least something he can take away from today.
Oh yeah, that's a very quick lap as well. 1:13.8. That's a very, very quick lap. Actually 3/10 faster than anybody else. So that's very impressive from him.
So Paley only 1 second behind the jam now, so
Yeah.
he's in the window.
Yeah, it's 1.1 now, so he has gained 6/10 on him. And with 3.5 laps to go, this could get very interesting indeed.
I certainly wouldn't rule anything out at this point.
Yeah. Actually, it's now under a second, 9/10. So he's definitely quicker, but can he get past? We shall wait and see. We're gonna find out in the next couple of minutes for sure.
I mean, the thing with it was he wasn't able to get past Schmidt, who he seems to have at least a little bit of a time advantage over for a large number of laps. So he may be in the same position as the jam, and now he just has to get on with the job and try to ignore the ever-growing large black and red car in his rear mirrors.
Yeah. The gap down to 6/10 now. Oh! Ay. That is a shame. He lost half a second now.
He did well to stop it as well, because that could have easily gone into the wall.
Yeah. But this could be very crucial. The gap now up to 1.3 seconds, so it's like Paling would have lost 2/10, so yeah, not good with 2.5 laps to go.
He's running out of time.
Yeah, he's really running out of time. He really needs to do something now, or he's gonna finish 6th in this race, which still is not bad at all.
It's a very good result. I think any driver out there today who managed to finish this race really deserves a round of applause, because
Yeah.
we've seen some drivers that you wouldn't have expected to have retire from this race.
Yeah, we saw a lot of mistakes in the chicanes. Now the drivers, we haven't seen any mistakes in the last 20 laps or so.
No.
And again, Paling pulls the gap down under a second, 8/10. 2 laps to go now. Oh, this is gonna get so feisty. Gap down to 7/10. 2 laps to go for him.
Meanwhile, up front, Sander Callas has really just been cruising, and he's been just extending the lead out over Felix van Delft to 7.5 seconds. I think perhaps Felix just maybe psychologically gave up on it after that last round of pit stops.
Yep, but Sander Callas is now on the final lap of the race, so let's keep an eye on him and watch him most probably win the race and extend his lead in the championship.
and he's had just a super race all around. And he may have had a little bit of a challenge here today from Felix van Delphen. Certainly almost half the race he had him right up his gearbox, but he has just been absolutely superb. Didn't let it get to him at all.
This man, Sander Callas, hasn't made any mistakes. He has been very consistent. You can say that he has been untouchable. Pole position, and he's gonna take the checkered flag and win the French Grand Prix, the 8th round of the FSR ACE Championship.
Felix van Delphen is across the line as well to take that second place. Very well deserved. That's the second place today.
And Hamlet is gonna come home to take the final podium spot. I believe it's his debut in ACE and getting a podium in his first race. That's truly remarkable. So great performance from Hamlet there. Michael Ayers is gonna finish in 4th place.
And the Jam is holding on for dear life at this point.
Yep. And it looks like that Najam is just about gonna make it. Oh, very close. Oh, that's really close. What's gonna happen now? Oh, and Najam just about wins it by 2/10. Lucas Schmidt is gonna finish 7th, and yeah, that's everyone.
Wow.
In the finish.
What a race that was.
Oh, well, incredible race. So Sander Callas with an incredible performance. Like I said, he was unbeatable today, absolutely untouchable. Felix van Delphen was there, but in the end he made that mistake, which cost him the chance to win the race. So Sander Callas, very deserved, and yeah, takes the win with Felix van Delphen, like I said, in 2nd place. Harley Hamnet gets his first podium in ACE. Michael Ayers finishes in 4th. Najam just about finishes ahead of Baling, who finishes 6th. Lucas Schmidt and Cody Blanton finished 7th and 8th respectively, the both ACR drivers. I'm pretty sure that both expected more, especially Cody Blanton after starting from 3rd and being 2nd after the first lap. De Wald now finishes 9th. Tom Satterley with the fastest lap finishes 10th, and Gerald van der Weijt finishes in 11th. Otherwise, Roslan, Vasiliev, Oslakovic, Araneda, Helpap, Alves, Crivens, Winter, and Van der Niet haven't finished the race. So that is it from us. That is it from the a 9th round, I think it is, of the FSR ACE Championship, and I hope you have enjoyed the race as much as we did, and we can now only invite you for tomorrow for the pro race in the afternoon, and the World Championship race later that day. So that is it from me, and from Ian as well, and we'll see you next time.
Hey man, I got that new 10X Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I mean, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have a hand.